How are the books looking?
What a difference 3 months makes. This is what we were told about the state of the Australian economy in the lead up to the recent federal election.
Right now, Australia is one of the most successful economies to come out of this pandemic amongst the advanced economies of the world.
And this is what newbie Treasurer Jim Chalmers has just said about the state of the exact same economy.
That approach has already given our country a wasted decade of missed opportunities and messed up priorities. You are already paying too much for that in the form of high and rising inflation, falling real wages, and $1 trillion of debt that will take generations to pay off.
So who do we believe?
Neither of them, because neither of them nor any other politician has any idea what the economy is going to do next week, let alone in 2 years' time. The rosy picture Morrison painted wasn't based on figures he plucked out of thin air. They were based on calculations made under the Charter of Budget Honesty by the Federal Treasury. That's the same department that's just issued entirely new predictions just 12 weeks later.
Did he know someone by the name of Anna?
Why should we believe these ones?
New governments love to reset expectations.
Mark McGowan did it after he won in 2017.
We now confront the worst set of finances since the Great Depression.
We know that the debt burden left to us, the highest level as a share of the economy since the aftermath of the Second World War.
Jim built this speech up as being a confronting reality.
We expect that government payments will be around $30 billion higher over the forward estimates than was forecast pre-election.
And there are worrying signs, but if you look at the main figures, not that much has changed since before the election. Remember, that was when we were told this.
Our Australian economy has been coming through this pandemic stronger than almost any other advanced developed economy in the world.
Inflation would be 4.25%, actually at 6.1 and forecast to go close to 8. GDP won't be 3.5, it'll be 3, and next year it will be 2, not 2.5. And wage growth, their big ticket item, if you can believe it, will go up.
Wow, so we're all getting a pay rise.
Good luck. Jim knows he can do bugger all to increase wages. He can give a few federal public servants more money, but that's about it. He certainly can't force Mark McGowan to pay nurses or teachers more, and he can't force private businesses to. Although I'm happy for you to ask Kerry Stokes to give me a pay rise, Jim.
Sounds like overreach.
Governments used to talk about jobs.
Our job maker plan is all about getting Australians back to work.
But we've all got one of them now. It doesn't matter how hopelessly underqualified you are.
5.4, sorry.
This language.
So the narrative has moved to wage growth, or lack thereof.
In the year to March, real wages fell 2.7%, the worst result in more than 2 decades.
How's he going to fix it?
Oh, don't worry, he's got it all under control. He's organising a job summit.
Australians know that we'll only rise to this occasion if we work together. That's what the Jobs and Skills Summit in September will be all about.
If ever you want evidence that a government doesn't have a clue about what to do, it's when they hold a summit. There were lots of economic facts in the speech and a lot of politics.
The fault lies with a decade of wasted opportunities and wrong priorities and willful neglect.
Also a response to an unprecedented economy and health crisis, Jim. Chalmers didn't miss an opportunity to lay the blame at the feet of his predecessors, going so far as to accuse them of financial bastardry.
The budget we inherited is bursting with waste and rorts. It's booby-trapped by expiring measures.
He's very worried about inflation.
Jim had the good grace to admit that the main source of rising CPI was out of his and Josh Frydenberg's control.
As much as we can provide support, we can't control the war in Ukraine or China's COVID policies.
A war that's so bloody and wreaking such havoc that Vladimir Zelensky and his wife had to take a break from it with a photo shoot in the latest edition of Vogue. Blue steel in the front of wreckage of a plane.
Weird.
Yeah. But politicians will do anything for a camera.
I get moving to help set me up for the day ahead.
The inflation unleashed by the ever so stylish war in Ukraine is a problem because it's causing interest rates to go up around the world.
Inflation, which is too high for too long, undermines living standards and jobs and wrecks economies.
You and I are sweating on interest rates going up when we've got a few $100,000 on the mortgage. The government owes a number that's got 12 zeros in it.
That's scary. So what's his debt plan?
We hold the world ransom for $100 billion.
In almost the same breath as saying debt was out of control, Jim outlined new things he was going to spend money on.
by cutting childcare costs for approximately 1.26 million families.
Canberra just can't stop investing.
By investing in industries which will deliver more secure, well-paid jobs.
This generation of politicians are addicted to spending because the second Australians get a bit of hip pocket pain, we complain.
Dad, $4.50.
For jousting sticks? Tell him he's dreaming.
Albanese said conclusively that we couldn't afford to extend JobKeeper in the latest COVID wave. Until we could.
In a backflip from the Albanese government.
This is a fairly major backflip.
Why the backflip?
Every household in the world knows that when your debt is high and your income is uncertain, you need to trim your expenses. But the last politicians to make real cuts were these guys. Joe Hockey and Matthias Cormann were chomping on their stogies after handing down the first budget of the Abbott government. Back then, Joe told us he needed to make serious cuts to spending.
We are a nation of lifters, not leaners.
Yeah. We told Joe to get and the 2014 federal budget was widely condemned as the worst handed down in living memory.
Worst day ever.
The Libs got smashed so hard back then that every MP has been gun-shy ever since.
Of course I'm not mad. If something's hard to do, then it's not worth doing.
Jim almost sounded evangelical by the end of his speech.
Sure did.
We have it within us to stare down these threats, to steer our way through this difficult period and seize the opportunities of this new age.
Apparently we're all in this together, like lemmings going over a cliff.
So you're saying the government doesn't have a clue about the economy and wouldn't know what to do even if it did?
That's right.
So what do we do?
Pray.
Because I still believe in miracles.
Can you send one our way, mate? I'm Ben Harvey. For more update, click the subscribe button below.